This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Let's turn the clock back to 2008.
Spider Cop.
I will lead you into battle!
There you are. Wake me when you need me.
I'm willing to declare here today that Xbox 360 will sell more consoles worldwide this generation than PlayStation 3.
A planet in peril. The worst financial crisis in a century.
It was a manic Monday in the financial market. The Dow tumbled more than 500 points after two pillars of the street tumbled over the weekend. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old firm, filed for bankruptcy.
Games are now the leading driver of all entertainment spending. People will spend an estimated $48 billion on video games this year.
While 2008 was a bad year for the stock market, it was heaven for gamers. Dead Space, Gears 2, Left 4 Dead, and more all made their way into our consoles and our homes. We didn't know how good we had it. But one game in the sea of classics stood out. Rockstar Games had released GTA San Andreas 4 years earlier in 2004. Immediately after, Rockstar North began work on GTA 4, and they handed over all of the GTA 3D era spin-off games to Rockstar Leeds for them to handle. In just 4 years, Rockstar was able to create the most technologically advanced game of its time.
Fastest game on 4 wheels, and it's about to race off store shelves. Grand Theft Auto 4.
This is bigger than the opening of a big blockbuster movie.
Designers paid attention to detail.
It really feels like the world has come alive.
Yeah, for 2008, nothing is going to beat this game. I mean, this is the ultimate sandbox game. Nothing in 2008 is even going to come close to touching this title.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is expected to sell nearly 9 million copies in the next few days at $60 a pop. That's a lot of cash.
As the last customers grab their copies and the doors of GameStop close for the night, the world of Liberty City opens for gamers everywhere.
In the first 24 hours, GTA 4 dominated sales records of the time. In 24 hours, GTA 4 almost doubled the sales record from Halo 3's first 24 hours. The $310 million in sales were significantly higher than the previous film record holder of the time, Spider-Man 3's $60 million. In its first week, GTA 4 generated more than $500 million in sales from over 6 million units sold globally. At the time, publisher Take-Two stated it outperformed any movie or music launch to date. It was also the first Rick roll. The origin of the meme started as a fake GTA 4 trailer link. The meme was created by Sean Cotter.
My name is Sean Cotter, and the inventor of the meme on the internet called the Rickroll. I go to 4chan and I start posting this link. Basically in every thread that I see, I had no rhyme or reason to the way that I was posting it. When I woke up the next morning, it was beyond 20,000 views, and that was mind-blowing at the time.
Though GTA 4 was a hit that broke all of these records, it's rumored that it was almost a PlayStation exclusive. Had it not been for Microsoft paying $75 million to Rockstar Games to ensure the game would not be exclusive to the PS3, it very likely could have ended up as a PlayStation exclusive title. What made GTA 4 so special? What made it worth all of this investment from Microsoft? What made it break the records it did and outperform every other piece of media in the history of the world at its time?
Let me try and explain.
GTA 4 featured a massive open world, fully detailed down to each alleyway and billboard ad, citywide AI for pedestrians, cops, and traffic, day-night cycles and weather cycles, dynamic shadows that you could track as they moved across the ground. The game pushed a massive amount of features and new technologies, more than any other game in 2008, and it packed all of these features into one game. In order to make a game of this scale and scope, it broke the record for the most expensive game ever produced at its time. The map was alive, not just because it was packed with NPCs, but because every road had a name. The billboards and advertisements were for real products you could find throughout the world, like drinks or car brands. They had television that played different channels, ads, and even comedy shows that you could go see yourself if you went to the actual club. The internet cafe let you browse the internet and look at dating sites or new ringtone sites where you could actually buy ringtones for your phone. The subway systems actually worked, and they were mapped out just like they are car in New York City. The radio played music, talk shows, and ads just like real life. The map was based on New York City, and they parodied all sorts of landmarks and areas. The NPCs in the world behaved more realistically than we'd ever seen before, and pretty much better than we've ever seen since. The leap from GTA San Andreas to GTA 4 in just 4 years was unbelievable. GTA 4 created a virtual world, the closest to reality that we've ever seen. To prove that this game was ahead of its time, we're going to compare elements from GTA 4 with similar elements of more recent games. But this isn't just about GTA 4 being ahead of its time. It's also about any game that was ahead of its time in relation to GTA 4's innovations. Let's start with Euphoria physics. In GTA 4, the NPCs were lifelike. They reacted to things in their environment differently than they do in other games. Many games from this era, and even many from today, just used ragdolls or falling down animations when an NPC is killed. Sometimes they even do a mix of the two, like in Gears of War 2. When you kill an enemy, they could flip back and enter ragdoll mode after that. Ragdolling is good enough, but it lacks that extra nuance that makes you think you're looking at something living. Instead, you're just watching a series of bones collapse. Enter Euphoria physics. In GTA 4, NPCs grab the area you shoot and stumble backwards. You could nudge them off ledges and in front of trains. No other game at that time had NPCs this realistic. These are the NPCs we're getting as of 2020. Honestly ask yourself if we've gone forward or backward here. In GTA 4, NPCs tried to catch themselves from falling down a set of stairs if you pushed them. They'd grab onto car door handles and hang on while you drove away. Even Nico could hang onto cars while they were moving. If you were drunk, you could really see the Euphoria physics in action, as Nico would stumble around and nearly fall over from stepping off a curb. He would grab onto things near him to try to stay upright. 6 years before GTA 4, in 2002, The Getaway featured really cool animations too. Your character would begin to limp when injured. Bullet injuries you sustained or inflicted on others would show through as blood-soaked areas through clothing. While it didn't have the advanced Euphoria calculations and it was still a preset animation, it was still incredibly far ahead of its time. Just look at GTA Vice City's walking animations compared to The Getaway's injured walk animation. We won't talk about The Getaway's normal walking animation. The interesting thing about The Getaway is it had no HUD of any kind. Everything you had to do was communicated through the actual stuff going on in-game. Like when you had to go to a mission objective, your car would tell you where to turn by flashing its turn signals at varied speeds. No health bar, just progressively worse limping, things like that. Many people found this to just be really annoying though. Another game with realistic character animation was 2005's Shadow of the Colossus. And before that, way back in 2001, Ico. Both made by the same guy, Fumito Ueda. Fumito Ueda pushed character animation far beyond what was typical in the early 2000s by making the protagonists and creatures react to their environment, rather than just doing generic animations. In Shadow of the Colossus, he blended hand-keyed motion animation with physics and inverse kinematics so that, for example, Wander swings like a pendulum when clinging to a moving colossus, or when he stands on uneven terrain, his feet raise depending on what's beneath him. This also happened in Ico. Remember that this came out in 2001. Wander could even stand on his horse while he rode it, jump from it, or ride on the side of it. The climbing mechanics while scaling a massive creature and feeling its inertia, its speed, its weight, are all things you don't see these days. Or when you do see them, they don't carry that same weightiness to them. Compared to most games of that era, where characters often acted rigidly despite where they stood in their environment, Ueda's dynamic character animations made his worlds feel far more immersive than almost anything else at the time. He went on to make The Last Guardian, and now he's working on a new game, Project Robot. When a game goes beyond surface level realism, it stops feeling like a game and starts feeling like a simulation. Like this video's sponsor, War Thunder. War Thunder doesn't use simple health bars or hit points. Every tank, plane, and ship is modeled down to its actual components. components. When you take a hit, it's not some random damage number, it's a real shell penetrating armor, shredding fuel lines, and disabling engines. In War Thunder, every vehicle has weight, handling, and function based on its real-life equivalent. It's also the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made. You can take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and main battle tanks of today. And destruction is front and center as a core gameplay mechanic. You can play War Thunder on PC and console, and War Thunder now has an all-new mobile version available on iOS and Android, allowing you to play on the battlefield wherever you go. The mobile version features intuitive controls, impressive graphics, and the familiar massive multiplayer warfare in dynamic ground and sea battles with air support. In my favorite feature, which is X-ray view, you'll see precisely where the shell penetrated, which components were affected, and ultimately what led to the destruction of the vehicle. Join a worldwide community of over 95 million players in awesome PvP battles today. Immerse yourself in the intense combat of War Thunder, where incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects place you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Sign up for free using the links in my description and pinned comment. For a limited time only, there's a massive bonus pack available for new and returning players that haven't played for at least 6 months on PC and consoles, including the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 1,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Back to Euphoria in GTA 4. When jumping out of a moving vehicle, Nico would bounce, spin, and kick rather than just ragdolling or switching to a preset animation. Compare this with any number of games from present day. Watch Dogs Legion showcases an embarrassingly archaic method of handling something like this, similar to the classic era GTA games. Cyberpunk, even after its many updates, still doesn't quite make jumping out of a car look realistic, but if you double tap the get out of the car button, you'll jump off of the vehicle and up into the air like a superhero. These games are missing what could be such a fun gameplay element. With real physics on your player and car, you can use your body as a weapon by jumping out into a crowd. You could also bail out of a moving car and watch it launch like a missile into traffic, slamming into other vehicles, flipping cars, and triggering chain reaction chaos. Those other games are missing that fundamental, real physical interaction. Other games had used this software too. In Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, all of the NPC enemies are using the Euphoria physics system. They'll grab onto their friends when you lift them up with the Force, and if you bring them to certain areas, they'll grab hold and hang on for their life. If you time it right, you can even drop them and watch them land on their feet.
And what Euphoria is it's a system that allows us to give our characters biomechanical AI. It literally infuses them with a central nervous system, a brain and a spinal cord and a nervous system and even muscles that allow them to act by reflex. So as Adam throws some stormtroopers up here, what you'll see is they'll try to protect themselves. They know that they're being thrown kind of into empty space there and that they're about to fall to their deaths unless they can grab onto some of these beams. So they'll actually try and grab on, they'll try and grab onto one another as well. And this is all simulation based. None of this is being driven by animation, which is again really cutting edge technology here, not something that you'll see in any other games except for LucasArts games. And there you can see an example of behavior of two stormtroopers grabbing onto one another. Again, that sense of self-preservation as they try to protect themselves from that fall.
Another game to use Euphoria is a football game called Backbreaker.
Backbreaker is the first sports game that uses Euphoria. Euphoria is our technology that allows us to simulate human movement in real time. We do that by simulating the body of the character, in this case the player, the muscles and the nervous system. That means that all the characters are fully interactive. Euphoria originally started as a university research project at Oxford University, where we were trying to simulate how humans and how animals move in real time. We ended up with very simple creatures learning how to walk in a very wobbly fashion. But already at that point, it was clear to us that these characters were truly interactive. They weren't just canned animations anymore. All of Euphoria is based around the concepts of behaviors. So we replace hundreds of tackle animations with one tackle behavior. And that behavior is actually a real-time simulation of the motor nervous system, obviously simplified so it can run fast enough on a console, but essentially is an active simulation of what the character is trying to do.
The Euphoria agents are all autonomous, so essentially they, to an extent, make their own decisions.
This is what sports games should be about. innovation. Unfortunately, Madden and FIFA recycle the same old content year after year, repackaging it with a new game case and a shiny new microtransaction store. The Euphoria system is also in Max Payne 3. This sort of thing should be in every shooter. It's much more engaging for the player when the enemies react to what the player is doing in such a unique way. This boosts a game's replay value. There's a reason why games like Gang Beasts and Party Animals are so popular. It's a lot of fun to play with physics-based characters. In GTA 5, they dumbed the Euphoria physics down. Now, when you slowly drive into NPCs, they just remain static and slide across the ground. But due to Rockstar Games and Take-Two filing NPC AI patents, it's rumored that the NPCs in GTA 6 will act much more human than ever before, to the point that they'll even be able to interact with cars and objects in the world, and where each character will have a personality and mood. If you're wondering why no other games are using the Euphoria engine today, there are a few reasons. The biggest reason is that Euphoria, made by Natural Motion, is essentially owned by Take-Two now. Another big reason is that it's just extremely complicated to integrate it into a game, as it has to be added to the game's base code. An ex-Natural Motion intern posted this on Reddit saying, "The incredibly complex simulations need a very competent mathematician to create. This means that a lot of the work to create them has to be done by Natural Motion themselves. This scares away corpo developers who are terrified of things like that, seeing middleware as cancerous to the codebase." Liberty City felt real long before the tech could truly match it. 17 years later, artists are pushing that same realism even further with today's tools. One of them is Patrick, a PBR artist helping to bring full ray tracing and physically based materials into Liberty City, not to change its art style, but to reveal just how timeless its design truly was.
Hi, hello, I'm Patrick, also known as Identity, and I've been working as a PBR artist with the RTX Remix compatibility mod for GTA 4 and Left 4 Dead 2 as Nostalgia Drive team. What's really special about this project is that RTX Remix doesn't just add fancy lighting, it replaces the original render engine entirely. The game is basically rebuilt to use real-time path tracing, where every light, shadow and reflection behaves physically accurate. It's like giving an old engine a completely new soul. My main work focuses on creating realistic PBR materials and setting up lighting for different scenes. It's challenging because GTA 4 was never designed for this level of detail, but that's also what makes it so fun. We're talking about 2008 world and reimagining it with the technology of 2025. RTX Remix opens up massive creative possibilities for modders. You can rebuild textures, meshes, even physical surface properties, metalness, roughness, reflections, emission. It gives artists full control over how the world reacts to light. What I really love about this community is that it's all passion driven. No big studio, no funding, just people experimenting, learning and pushing boundaries together. Every small step feels like a piece of history being rewritten. For me personally, this isn't about changing the original art direction, it's about exploring how old games can evolve when modern technology breathes new lives into them. Thank you.
Rockstar fills Liberty City's streets with cars and pedestrians. Each car has its own personality, drive style, mass, and brand. Burnout also has their own fake brands. They do this to avoid licensing issues when damaging or destroying the cars. But Burnout doesn't have the same level of narrative depth that the GTA 4 car brands did. Watch Dogs also has fake car brands and even had commercials too. These games came out in 2014 and 2016 though, 6 years after GTA 4. In 4, cars had weight that you could feel, as you've probably heard a million times. The only other game to date that matched its realistic weight and handling is BeamNG, released 7 years later. BeamNG is superior to all other games when it comes to realistic vehicle damage and physics, including all the Rockstar titles. But even way back in 2008, GTA 4 cars crumple and dent exactly where they were hit. GTA 4's damage, while impressive, wasn't the first title to feature this custom denting based on where you hit. Mafia 1 on PC featured custom vertex morph damage 6 years earlier in 2002. The game's damage system was downgraded for the console releases, unfortunately. Deformation, while not necessarily custom, was also in the Getaway from 2002.
Just remember, they drive on the left side of the road.
but GTA 4's bending and crumpling is definitely superior to the Getaway and Mafia's. Damage like this is not often done in games, especially open world games as ambitious as GTA. Even GTA 5, the next title in the series released 5 years later, doesn't compare to GTA 4's vehicle damage. For the first time in the GTA series, doors were finally physically real. They could be knocked off and stepped on like they were still physical objects. We had this in Flat Out from 2004, but once the doors flung off the hinges, you couldn't interact with them like you could in GTA 4. Saints Row 1 did have physical car parts that could be interacted with, even after they fell off. Vehicles were also damaged by weapons. The bullet hole effect actually looked three-dimensional when you'd riddle a car with bullets. Glass would crack where it was shot, and tires would flatten when shot, with air bleeding out of the tires, all of which was uncommon for games from this time. Though, yet again, the Getaway also had these features. The tires were also only flat when they were actually on the ground, which was a neat detail. Burning out tires for too long would cause them to pop, and the suspension could be slowly lowered shot by shot. Sometimes windshields were dirty too, and they could be cleaned at the car wash. Mafia 2 also had car washes, and even the ability to fill your car with gas, a feature still missing from GTA. Big trucks would take time to get moving, and they'd also take a while to stop. If you took them full speed into other cars, they'd crush them harder than a smaller vehicle ever could. GTA 4 was well ahead of the competition when it came to its driving physics. The cars felt like they had real mass, true speed, and weight. Compared to Saints Row 2 released the same year, they're not even in the same league. Nico could shoot out of his car wherever you aimed, and while shooting, he'd avoid the car's roof columns. Many games before GTA 4 did lock-on shooting when you were in a car. Games like True Crime, Streets of LA, and Starsky and Hutch used lock-on shooting. The 3D-era GTA games let you shoot out of the car, but only to the sides. Saints Row 1 did have free aiming from the vehicle 2 years before GTA 4 did. Your car had momentum, and that carried through to your character when you'd crash at high speeds and fly out of the windshield. There were a lot of easy-to-miss details in the way Nico drove, too. When braking, he leaned forward. When you made sharper turns, Nico would lean left and right in his seat. Though the physics of GTA 4 were ahead of their time, it still lost out on many of the things that San Andreas did right before it. In San Andreas, there were various skills that you could increase and decrease. One of these skills was the driving skill. When maxed out, it changed how CJ drove. For instance, when reversing with a low skill, he looked back. When reversing with a high skill, he used the mirrors. When driving with a low skill, CJ used 2 hands to steer. When driving with a high skill, CJ only used 1 hand. Some modern cars in GTA 4 feature ABS-like behavior. ABS is anti-lock braking, a safety feature on most modern cars that prevents the wheels from locking up during sudden braking, allowing you to maintain steering control and avoid skidding. It works by rapidly pulsing the brakes or pumping them, which keeps your tires in contact with the road, maximizing traction and control. Some vehicles, like the Bullet GT, allow players to steer while braking, which is a characteristic of ABS, but non-ABS vehicles like the Stallion tend to skid and lose steering capability when braking hard. An insane detail you'd never expect in a game like this. You'd expect this in a game like Forza or Gran Turismo. Also, if you lightly press the accelerate button on an incline, you could see the car slightly roll back as the clutch was released. And on the PS3, the game featured 6-axis controls. By tilting your controller, you could control the lean of certain vehicles, and apparently many people would accidentally click the 6-axis tutorial button on the phone when trying to input cheats. There are plenty of details that this game included with vehicles that most other games don't bother to include, even by today's standards. You could shut off the engine of your car by holding the get out button, or leave it running by only tapping it. You could also hear the radio was still playing when getting out and leaving it running. But this is one of the craziest features in the game, and I encourage you to go test it out yourself. If you get out of your car, that car will stay there as long as you don't get into another car. This means you can walk away from it as far as you want, and as long as you don't get into another vehicle, it'll still be there when you walk back to it, and it will still have the same damage, everything. NPCs in the game use blinkers when they drive. 2004's The Getaway Black Monday featured traffic that used blinkers too. 2002's Getaway even let you use your own blinkers, a feature still not introduced into the GTA series. You'll hear a clinking sound when you drive over a manhole cover. Tires leave blood marks as you drive over bodies, but they did do this ever since GTA 3. The AI was smart too. Drivers flashed you and swerved if you were driving toward them in the wrong lane. NPCs stop or get out of your way when you're in a police cruiser with the sirens on. In Godfather from 2004, they moved aside too. Sirens had different modes and could break. When broken, they would sound broken. The horn itself was even different on police vehicles. You couldn't listen to the radio while in the police car. Instead, you could only listen to the police radio. Wind blows Nico's clothes when he rides on a bike, and this also happened in Vice City. Blood could splatter onto cars, but Rockstar took it a step further and let you clean off the blood, either by going through a car wash when it rained, or with water from a fire truck. Nico could hail taxis, but he would call them differently while drunk.
Yellow car!
GTA 4's combat was a massive step up from previous entries, a huge upgrade from San Andreas' shooting and fighting. You could even access a hidden weapon wheel by holding the left bumper and pressing a direction, like up for assault rifles, left for the pistol. Camera to player distances could be set separately, one for walking and one for shooting. This meant that you could set the walking distance to neutral and the aiming distance to match, so that when he aimed, it didn't move the camera. When Nico was done shooting due to running out of ammo, he'd casually toss his weapon to the side. You could literally shoot guns straight out of people's hands in this game, or knock them loose with a punch if you got close enough. Noose operatives did hand signals during shootouts. Other games like Sleeping Dogs from 2012, which was the spiritual successor to the True Crime series, handled combat differently. Sleeping Dogs and the Yakuza games often include environmental takedowns in their combat system. GTA 4 was more about dodging, blocking, and countering. GTA 4's fighting is probably the best it's ever been in a GTA game, unless 6 brings back this better style of combat or improves on it. GTA 4 introduced a new feature where you could pick up random things in your environment and throw them. You could pick up a brick and throw it, but if you picked up a cigarette, Nico would naturally hold it between his fingers. So many objects were actually real in this game, like bike helmets or his sunglasses or hats. They could get knocked off in fights, but he looked cool with or without them, so it's all good. GTA 4 also introduced new climbing mechanics that Rockstar got rid of in GTA 5. While the climbing was great in GTA, it was a few months behind the first Assassin's Creed, which featured parkour in an open world, the first of its kind to do so.
We've gotten comparisons to GTA because of the open sandbox elements and the fact that you can do missions in whatever order.
And now we can show you one of our second main focuses, which is freedom. We place the player in complete control of the environment. Just like if you guys are familiar with free running, basically you can go anywhere. So any architectural detail like you're seeing right now is interactive.
The climbing in GTA 4 was a nice addition, and it made for some interesting missions. A game that came out 1 year after GTA 4 was The Saboteur. It featured an open world set in Nazi-occupied France during World War II. The bleak outlook of the occupation was shown through this Sin City black and white art style. When you liberated an area from the Nazis, color would flood back to the streets. This is probably why even in the occupied areas, windows still bleed color out, to show that they're against the occupation. In this game, you could drive cars in an open world, but you could also climb buildings like you could in Assassin's Creed. There were plenty of little details and things you could do in GTA 4, like robbing stores and stealing from cash registers, or how Nico would run out of breath if he was injured. When Nico stole cars, he'd usually be fine hitting men, but he'd never hit women. And if he did, nearby men would jump in to defend them.
I think what we're most looking forward to creating in a PlayStation 3 game is a truly realized, truly immersive, living, breathing world. This is what we live for.
Liberty City is the most faithful interpretation of New York City ever put in a game. Not because it's one-to-one accurate, but because it captures the soul of it. The chaos, the clutter, the density, the attitude. It's vertical, it's compressed, and it's busy. Rockstar's unique work here is in how they reimagined real New York landmarks through its warped satirical lens. You've got Happiness Island, which is Liberty Island, complete with a Statue of Happiness, a twisted parody of the Statue of Liberty with a smirking face and a cup of coffee in her hand instead of a torch. Her 7 spikes represent the 7 continents and seas, and she has a real beating heart in her chest. As almost everyone knows at this point, her face was based on Hillary Clinton because of her involvement with the hot coffee controversy.
I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Star Junction, which is their version of Times Square, is cluttered with ads for in-universe movies and products. The Get a Life building, a skyscraper telling gamers to get a life, standing in for the MetLife building. Even the massive middle park, their Central Park, feels like more than just a green space. It's a place where joggers pass through, sax players play for tips, and they even have the obelisk from New York, though downsized, and it's even destructible.
You want to die?
The world always has this background noise and activity.
You think it's a joke? The joke's on you! They're killing you! You are being harvested by a marketing machine! You're not free! You're slaves!
Street vendors are selling hot dogs, construction sites are buzzing, people are digging into their trunks, they're getting pulled over. The sounds that you hear in the subway and commuters waiting for the train, people talking on their phone. Liberty City isn't just a backdrop, it's the main character, and it never says a word, yet somehow it tells you everything. Games like True Crime: Streets of New York from 2005 have a more copy and paste feeling to their cities. To a degree, this is understandable for this game though. This game recreated the entire city of Manhattan street by street. The map is huge, so reusing so many buildings is a necessity, but this copy and pasted feel is juxtaposed to the map design of Liberty City. While it may sometimes sound like it's putting down the work of the development team for games like True Crime New York, that's not the intention. There are many factors that can cause differences in quality like this. Production budget and time limitations are probably the biggest influences. Rockstar Games actually stand out as one of the only major game studios that doesn't release games until they've completely finished them, and they're almost always willing to spend the money required to achieve their goals. This isn't a luxury that most other studios have. That's why comparing them is essential. It shows the people who fund these other games and basically make all of the financial and timeline decisions that taking their time and doing things right is worthwhile. We're showing them what we want through these comparisons, what we will pay for. Comparing the quality of a game and then the sales figures to match is one way of driving the point home. For instance, Watch Dogs 1 sold 10 million copies by 2015. It did so well because Ubisoft took a chance on a new IP. By the time we get to Watch Dogs Legion though, a common analyst estimate suggests that the game has likely sold around 5 million copies. They won't even publicly share the sales figures, which is a bad sign. True Crime New York was a commercial failure. All we really know is in its first 2 weeks on the market, it only sold 72,000 units. GTA 4 has sold roughly 25 million copies to date. GTA 5 has sold 215 million units, and Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold 74 million. This should encourage other studios. If you're gonna build an open world game, take your time, spend the necessary money, and make something that actually lasts. Look at 2006 Scarface: The World Is Yours, for instance. This game took the steps to stand out. It also reportedly sold around 2 million copies. The audio budget alone for this game was $2.5 million, probably because it featured a ridiculous amount of famous people.
And I like to be able to slide a little humor into these games, because I think people really appreciate them. If you're wanting free legal advice, how about a little head?
Just like Liberty City, they took the time to build out the map and base it on the source material.
Scarface is an enormous game. It's just gigantic, open world, full city of Miami, as well as a mapped out version of the Caribbean islands.
There's so much work to be able to enable a player to interact with our game how he or she wants to. We had to create tons of both outdoor and indoor locations so that the player could explore and find fun things to do.
You want to take on the world, so you need a large Miami, and we also wanted to incorporate these exotic islands where you could really get away from Miami and try and make big bucks.
This game is set in a 1980s Miami, but while it's an open world, it's a more linear style open world, with many inaccessible areas. It's built the same way The Simpsons Hit and Run was, and it was made by the same studio. They take more of a theme park approach to their map design. You can run the whole thing in a circle, but there's a lot of things to see along the route. It's interesting too to see so many games from this time and their versions of Miami. Driver 3, GTA Vice City, Scarface, and Need for Speed Heat all do Miami. GTA 6's rendition will be exciting to explore next year. It's crazy to think that we're as close as we are to GTA 6's release. One of the things that made Liberty City feel so alive was the ambient life it had. Church bells would ring every hour. In-world clocks actually synced up with the in-game time. The weather actually affected the world and the people in it, like streetlights would blow in the wind, NPCs would run for cover when it rained. The pedestrians were lifelike even by today's standards. Employees could be seen outside of their work having smoke breaks. They rolled down their windows to pay tolls. Police even arrested people, even if you set them up for arrest.
Better stop running!
Following on foot! I've got you in my sight, Get back up here! Immediately!
You run again?
Put your hands out where I can see them!
I have found weapons. Guess who's going to jail? Nothing to see here, folks. Move on!
If you shot someone, an ambulance would come, revive the victim, and take them to the hospital. If you were hanging out with a friend and called them while with them, Nico would acknowledge the awkward moment.
Leave a message!
These stupid phones!
Leave a message!
I wish I knew how to work this thing better. Oh, that's just me messing around.
Just the fact that it was an open world and you could call up friends to go hang out or girlfriends to go on dates was so far ahead of its time. Nico could call a few other things too, other than friends. He could call emergency services, and depending on where he was, he would name the actual street to the dispatch.
Suspended officer.
Hatton Gardens? Star Junction?
But if you called from the ocean, he'd say something else.
Suspended officer.
I knew you'd ask that. Let me call you back when I know exactly where I am.
We look forward to hearing from you again. Please stay safe in the meantime.
You could call Zit to find song names, which was based on the real-life Shazam from 2002, where users in the UK would dial 2580 and play the song over the phone, then receive a text message with the song title and artist. The game didn't feel like a repetitive game to a degree too, because when you replayed missions, the dialogue would be different the second time around.
Let's go take a look, man. So, you and Mallory is tight, huh? She and your cousin is together now. I love that girl, man. I love her, man. Your cousin better not be messing with her head. You're gonna propose, right? He's gonna make an honest woman of her, right?
I think that's as much of a decision of Mallory's as it is Roman's.
Let's go take a look, man. I like your vibe, man. I like it. You're out to make money, but you want to make a difference too, man. Best of both worlds, man.
Sony's 2018 Spider-Man did something similar. They recorded all of Spider-Man's free roam voice lines, one version with him straining as if he was swinging, and the other version calm as if he was standing still.
I love you.
Love you too.
I love you.
Love you too.
How do you guys think the game servers will hold up from the sudden surge of gamers playing GTA?
This is the $65,000 quote. 64? I don't know why they picked that number. Anyway,
well,
it's the big
the
question.
Call of Duty 4 maps brought down Xbox Live.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we do know that Microsoft's going to shut down to try to really get Xbox Live strengthened up, because they do obviously foresee a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, if they're saying 8 million copies of this game, this quickly, we are all waiting and seeing on that one. I cannot wait to find out myself.
Multiplayer's here for the first time. Really looking forward to playing online with my friends.
Everybody else is going to be playing it, and I don't want to be the only one left out, because I play Call of Duty, but I mean, everybody's switching over to GTA 4.
From the earliest days of GTA, Rockstar wanted to include multiplayer. As technical director Aube Vermey later revealed, I coded multiplayer for GTA 3. The basic gameplay was working, but there was too much to be done and we cancelled it. They tried again for Vice City, even bringing in network coders, but ultimately shelved the idea under tight deadlines. By San Andreas, the team judged full online impractical on the PS2, so instead they included only a local co-op mode. It was the final PS2 era game, not worth the effort. We added a local co-op instead. He said both North and New York wanted to make this happen since the GTA 3 days. The team at Rockstar was always ahead of the times. It wasn't until GTA 4 that they finally got the chance to build a true networked sandbox, fulfilling that original ambition. As Vermey put it, GTA 4 is when we finally nailed it. GTA 4's multiplayer is what laid the foundation for GTA 5. The game whose online component made so much money that they milked it for over a decade by producing online content updates. Because the multiplayer was less about buying things and in-game money, the design was more about fun rather than microtransactions and shark cards. In 2008, no other open-world game matched what GTA 4 pulled off with its online sandbox. A few titles came close. Saints Row 2006 offered online modes, but nothing like GTA 4's free roam sandbox style. Crackdown 2007 had 2-player co-op, and that was about it. GTA 4 was the first to let up to 16 players on console or 32 players on PC freely explore a densely populated crowded city together, whether on foot, in air, or in a car. No other game in 2008 combined all of that freedom. GTA 4's multiplayer stood completely alone.
And the multiplayer is ridiculous because it's 16 people online in Liberty City with the entire city open. The cops can be on, the pedestrians can be on, the traffic can be on. Everything that you experience in the single player game minus the storyline actually exists in the multiplayer for up to 16 people to play it. And all the multiplayer is really inventive and really fun, and just living in that city with so much going on, it's a true feat, a true technical feat. The multiplayer is enough to make GTA 4 worth buying.
All of this developed from 2004 to 2008 and released in 2008. The crazy thing about all of these details isn't that any one of them were necessarily ahead of their time. It was the fact that they were all included together, all within a massive open world like Liberty City. GTA 4 didn't just outdo everything that came before, it outdid it tenfold. And to some degree, it's still unmatched today. Even its successor, GTA 5, struggles to measure up in many ways. Maybe it's not just that GTA 4 was ahead of its time. Maybe it's that every other game, with their primary focuses being on budgets and release timelines over fun and innovation, are just behind the times.
In summary, Grand Theft Auto 4 is amazing.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is the sex, drugs, and rock and roll of video games.
And no game world has ever felt more alive than the living, breathing metropolis that is Liberty City. You will have fun playing this game.
Few games manage to deliver on the hype, but this is one that does.
Yeah, I think it lives up to the hype. I absolutely think it lives up to the hype.
We give Grand Theft Auto 4 a 10 out of 10. Get out to those midnight launches tonight. You need to play this game. A 5 out of 5.
And remember, check out War Thunder on the platform of your choice using the links in my description to receive that bonus pack and to support the channel. Thank you, War Thunder, for sponsoring this video.